Stop waiting for big change. Small, daily actions build unstoppable lives. This book shows 10 micro habits, each 60 seconds or less, that stacked every day rewrite identity, energy, and results. No motivation required, no perfect conditions. Do one small habit every day without fail. Do it now, do it again tomorrow, do it until it's who you are. This is not theory, it's a system. Start today. Chapter 1. Own the first minute. Own the whole day. You have a choice. This is not a pep talk. This is a protocol. The first 60 seconds after waking decide the chemistry of your morning. They decide posture. They decide mood. They decide whether the day will follow your plan or hijack you. That's the key. Small inputs make big outputs. One small action at dawn changes decision after decision. One small ritual rewires the morning. One small habit ends the excuse. Here is the brutal fact. Most people hand the first minute over to a glowing rectangle. They open a feed, they scroll, they surrender, they let other people's agendas set their nervous system. That is not neutral. That is an abdication. You have a choice. Choose different. You don't need permission. You don't need permission from motivation. You don't need permission from mood. You don't need their permission. You need discipline. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Look at the examples. Navy SEALs start with small rituals. CEOs do the same. They do the same because it works. They make the bed. They breathe. They perform a tiny, concrete action that costs little and pays huge. That micro-action converts chaos into competence. That micro-action signals control. That micro-action creates momentum. So here is the protocol for the first minute. Memorize it. Do it without debate. Step 1. Eyes open. Do not reach for the phone. Put the phone face down or in another room. No exceptions. You have a choice. Choose the action that builds you. That is the key. Step 2. 3 deep breaths. Breathe in for 4. Hold 1. Breathe out for 6. Repeat 3 times. Slow breath calms the amygdala. It lowers the early morning cortisol spike. It brings oxygen to the brain. It gives you clarity. 1 minute used well resets the chemistry of the day. Step 3. Stand up. Plant your feet. Move 2 steps. Motion beats inertia. Motion tells the body, we are not hiding. Motion tells the mind, we do things. One small physical move changes posture, and posture changes confidence. That's the key. Step 4. Make the bed. This is not trivia. This is a completed action. It is an early, non-negotiable win. It proves to the brain that you finish what you start. Small completion breeds bigger completion. Small wins stack into identity. Identity creates behavior. Behavior creates results. Step 5. Say 1 sentence of intention. Speak it aloud. Today, I will finish the client brief before lunch. Today, I will protect 2 hours of focused work. 1 sentence, 1 direction, 1 beacon. That sentence guides micro-decisions for the rest of the day. You have a choice. Choose a sentence that points you forward. Keep the language simple. Keep the decisions small. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Reduce the number of on-the-spot decisions you must make in the morning. Choose 1 MIT, 1 most important task, and guard it with ferocity. Decide first, decide fast, decide for your future self. Now the practical rules. No negotiation, no ceremony, no moralizing. Rule 1. Water by the bed. 1 sip immediately. Hydration is an underrated reset. It signals waking. It helps focus. Rule 2. Alarm across the room. No snooze. If you want different outcomes, remove the easy fallback. You have a choice. Rule 3. Phone out of reach for the first 60 seconds. You will feel the itch. That is resistance. Resistance is normal. Resistance is not permission. Act anyway. Rule 4. Use a one-line script you can repeat. Examples: 3 breaths, stand, 1 sentence, finish the report. Or water, make the bed, 1 sentence, protect my focus. Repeat it every morning until it's muscle. This is not about grandeur. It is about fidelity. It is about proving to yourself again and again that you can choose how you start. That proves identity. Identity is the quiet engine of results. Expect failure. Expect mornings when you will slip. That will happen. Do not litigate the slip. Do not make a drama out of it. Reset immediately. You reset by doing the protocol the next day. Consistency beats perfection. Do it again. Do it tomorrow. Do it the next day. You have a choice. You can keep reacting to every ping. You can keep letting other people write your script. Or you can take 1 minute and write your own opening line. That 1 minute compounds. It compounds into hours. Hours compound into weeks. Weeks compound into the person you become. Here is the test. For the next 7 mornings, no phone for the first 60 seconds. Do the breathing, stand, make the bed, say 1 sentence. Record your mood at noon. Be honest. Track the difference. The data will tell you the truth. You will hear the old excuses. I don't have time. I'm not a morning person. It won't matter. Those are arguments from the previous version of you. You have a choice. You can stay in the argument, or you can act. Do not give your future self a life of regrets. Remember the phrases. Say them aloud. Repeat them until they stick. You have a choice. That's the key. You don't need their permission. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. Own the first minute. Own the whole day. You mastered this first minute. You proved something to yourself. That proof matters. It transforms the next choice. It raises the floor of what you will tolerate. Now hold that victory. Guard it. Protect it. Stack it. You mastered the first minute. Now let's talk about the move that keeps you from losing it to distraction. Chapter 2. Move before you scroll. Move to show up. You have a choice. This is simple. This is not optional. The minute after you open your eyes is a battlefield. The feed wants you. Your body wants rest. Your brain wants easy dopamine. You have a choice. Choose motion. That's the key. Motion changes the nervous system. Motion flips the switch from passive to active. 1 minute of movement rewires the brain for attention. 1 minute of motion reduces the urge to scroll. 1 minute breaks the autopilot. You have a choice. Use it. Here is the blunt truth. Scrolling is a decision. It is a trained reflex. It is not a default. You taught it to yourself with tiny, repeatable actions. Now you can unteach it. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission from the feed. You don't need permission from the algorithm. You only need discipline. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. Look at the examples. Designers and founders start with movement. Athletes begin with mobility. Creative people use 2 minutes of stretching or jumping jacks before they open email. They do this because motion delivers focus. Motion reduces distraction. Motion builds momentum. That momentum leads to deep work. That momentum protects your MIT, your most important task. Do not complicate this. 1 minute is enough. 60 seconds of deliberate movement is the minimum effective dose. That's the key. Do it daily, do it first, do it before the screen. Here is the micro protocol. Memorize it. Do not argue. Do not negotiate. Eyes open, Feet to floor, no phone. That means the phone is not the first mover. That is a boundary. You have a choice. Choose this boundary. 60 seconds of motion. Choose one. 20 jumping jacks, brisk and honest. 1 minute of marching in place, pumping the arms. 30 seconds of bodyweight squats, then 30 seconds of arm circles. 1 minute of mobility flow, neck rolls, shoulder rolls, hip openers. Pick one. Do it right away. 1 minute, one move. Breathe loud. Do not hold the breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Breath supports motion. Breath resets anxiety. 1 minute of motion plus breath is a master reset. 2 deep shouts if needed. A soft exhale becomes force when combined with a vocal cue. Say begin. Say move. The voice aligns the brain. The voice starts the body. You have a choice. Choose to move. That is how winners begin. That is how doers begin. That is how people who finish begin. Now the tactical reasons. Why does this matter? First, motion interrupts the autopilot loop. The loop looks like this: wake, phone, news, anxiety, procrastination. Motion adds a node. Wake, motion, decision. Decision breaks the loop. Decision gives agency. Agency leads to action. Second, motion increases dopamine in a controlled way. It primes reward without feeding the feed. That makes focused work more attractive. That makes discipline easier. You don't need their permission to prime your brain. Third, motion changes posture. Posture communicates to the brain. Upright posture signals readiness. Slouched posture signals retreat. Motion corrects posture before the morning choices pile up. Fourth, motion reduces low-energy excuses. You will always rationalize inactivity. One more scroll. I'll start after coffee. Those are habit defenses. Motion collapses the excuse. Motion forces a physical yes to living. Now the practical variations. Pick one and commit. Option A, the 2-minute sprint, recommended for high-energy days. Stand, do 30 seconds of high knees, do 30 seconds of jumping jacks, do 30 seconds of push-ups, knees allowed. Finish with 30 seconds of deep breathing. 1 minute will feel short, 2 minutes will feel real. Option B, the 1-minute mobility, recommended for mornings after late nights. Neck rolls, shoulder rolls, hip circles, ankle rotations. Move slow, move precise. Finish with a long exhale. 1 minute of mobility restores range and clears fog. Option C, the micro yoga flow, recommended for creators. Sun salutation half. Inhale, arms up, exhale, forward fold, step back to plank, lower, cobra, child pose. Smooth, intentional. 1 minute connects breath with action. Option D, the desk prep, recommended for remote workers. Stand, do 5 air squats, shadow box for 30 seconds, shake out the hands, stretch the neck, then walk to the workstation with purpose. Pick one. Use the same one for 30 days. Repeat it every morning before the screen. This eliminates decision fatigue. Keep it ritualized. Habit creates identity. Identity creates outcomes. Expect resistance. You will want to scroll. The itch will be loud. The loop built over years fights the change. Expect it. Name it. Say, I feel the itch. Then move. Movement quiets the skin-crawling urge. Movement is action. Action is progress. Use accountability to enforce the routine. Put a sticky note on the alarm. Have a partner ask, did you move? Record your mornings for a week. Track the streak. Data beats opinion. The streak will become the argument your future self uses to demand better behavior. Small technical tips. Wear comfortable clothes at night if you plan to move first. Put a mat near the bed. Keep water ready after the movement. If you hate jumping, choose marching.
If you hate noise, choose mobility. The actual movement is less important than the habit. Reinforce the language. Repeat these lines until they feel embodied. Move before you scroll. Move to show up. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. It's not about willpower, it's about discipline. Say them out loud after the motion. The voice locks in the choice. The voice trains the identity. Here is the test. For the next 14 days, do not touch the phone until after you move. Do the 1-minute chosen routine. Record your ability to focus at 9 a.m. Be honest. Look for fewer distractions. Look for less anxiety. Movement will not solve everything. Movement will create a pattern you can build on. That's the key. Now, a final non-negotiable rule. If you miss the morning, do the routine before noon. Don't cancel the day. A missed morning does not erase the habit. Reset. 1 minute still restores you. You have a choice. You can scroll and let the feed decide, or you can move and decide. That is the decision that compounds. That is the decision that separates momentum from mediocrity. You moved first. You made the first active choice. That action protects your focus. It defends your MIT. It begins the chain of micro-habits that define a life. You moved before you scrolled. You turned passive into active. You changed your physiology. You changed your path. Now, keep the motion. Guard it. Stack the next micro-habit.
Chapter 3. Hydrate or hibernate. Drink to think. Hydrate to operate. You have a choice. This is not a wellness trend. This is basic chemistry. The brain is 90% water in its functional parts. Dehydration lowers attention. Dehydration slows decisions. Dehydration makes tiny problems feel huge. That is the brutal, unglamorous truth. You have a choice. That's the key. Most people reach for caffeine first. They reach for sugar. They reach for a stimulant that hides the underlying deficit. Coffee does not fix dehydration. Coffee can worsen it. You don't need their permission to reorder your morning. You don't need permission from habit or from culture. You need a glass of water and the discipline to make it the first move. It's not about willpower, it's about discipline. Listen to this. Sales teams and shift workers who adopt a simple hydration ritual perform steadier all morning. They make fewer impulse decisions. They close more calls. They get fewer errors. This is not fluff. This is practice. Real people in real jobs use this tactic because it works under pressure and when sleep is short. You have a choice to use the same tactic. Here is the clinical simplicity. Drink water within the first minute after motion. Do not make this complex. The minimum effective ritual takes 60 seconds. That is the rule. 60 seconds of hydration resets the body faster than a sugar jab. It gives clarity. It reduces fog. It reduces the crash later. Follow this protocol. Memorize it. Do it every morning. Prepare the night before. Place 1 full glass or a bottle of water next to the bed. Cold or room temperature. Pick what you will actually drink. Hydration is not about perfection, it is about consistency. You have a choice. Choose the option you will do. After movement, after your 1-minute motion ritual, pick up the glass. Sip slowly. Do not chug unless you are parched. 2 to 3 deliberate gulps. Pause. Breathe. Sip again. The point is to reboot, not to binge. Habituize the sip. Aim for 250 to 500 milliliters in the first 20 minutes. That range is effective without bloating. If you drink an entire liter in 30 seconds, you will feel worse. Small, steady sips shift chemistry without shocking the system. That is discipline. Stack the habit. Move first, then hydrate. Breath. Then state your 1-sentence intention. The sequence matters. Motion primes, hydration fuels, breath centers, intention directs.
Habit stacking reduces decision friction. That is the key. Use electrolytes if needed. Long shifts, heavy sweating, or late nights require mineral replacement. A pinch of salt or an electrolyte tab is not cheating. It is practical maintenance. Do not overcomplicate. You do not need a brand. You need the mineral. Avoid the trap. Do not treat hydration as a token. "I drank water" does not grant permission to scroll, snack, or defer the MIT. Hydration is preparatory. It is not the outcome. You have a choice to act after you hydrate. Now, the behavioral reasons this matters. First, hydration restores cognitive processing speed. Decisions become crisper. Reaction time improves. That is critical when emails stack and meetings run long. You will notice the difference within an hour. Second, hydration stabilizes mood. You will have fewer sudden spikes of irritation. That reduces micro-conflict. It reduces the self-sabotage that eats productivity. Small improvements in mood compound across the day. Third, hydration helps metabolic regulation. Cravings become less urgent. The impulse to reach for quick sugar decreases. That protects willpower later when the afternoon slump hits. You will spend less energy rescuing the day. Fourth, hydration is an identity signal. When you treat your body like a system that deserves fuel, you begin to behave like someone who invests in returns. The glass of water becomes a tiny vote for competence. Identity follows repetition. Here are exact scripts to use. They are blunt and actionable. Move. Sip water. 1 sentence. Finish the top task. 3 breaths. Sip. Be present. Drink first. Decide after. Repeat those lines. Use them until they feel mechanical. Expect friction. You will feel groggy. The water will taste flat. The body will ask for coffee now. That is normal. The old systems resist new inputs. They will argue. Ignore the argument. Act the habit. You have a choice. That is the key. Measurement is non-negotiable. For 7 days, track your clarity at 10 a.m. Rate it 1 to 10. Note impulse mistakes. Note how many times you reached for the phone before finishing an MIT. Data is the antidote to rationalization. If your score improves, you keep the ritual. If it does not, tighten the protocol. Practical edge tips you will actually use. Keep a marked bottle. Mark the hour you want to hit. Visual cues beat willpower. Use a metal bottle if it helps you drink more. Some people sip more from a wide mouth. Find your tool. If you wake dehydrated, add a pinch of salt or an electrolyte tab. You are not soft. You are efficient. If you dislike plain water, add a wedge of lemon. No sugar, no excuses. Language locks habit. Say aloud after the sip, water first, clarity next. Say it every morning. Repeat it after lunch. Repeat it before the last meeting. The phrase acts as a cognitive anchor. It reminds you of sequence and priority. Do not confuse hydration with performance theater. Bragging about tiny rituals does not produce results. Doing them does. Do not seek applause. Do not broadcast every small ritual for validation. You don't need their permission. This is private work. This is the internal architecture of results. Remember the framing. It's not about feeling motivated. It's not about having the perfect morning. It's not about being a morning person. It's about discipline. It's about the daily choice to provide the body the minimum fuel to think. That's the key. You have a choice. Drink to think. Hydrate to operate. Water first, clarity next. You hydrated. You reclaimed a small slice of control. That small slice compounds. It protects your attention. It raises the floor of what you can do. Now hold that hydration. Protect it. Stack the next micro habit. Drink done, intention set, action next.
Chapter 4. Write 1 sentence. Change the day. 1 sentence. 1 direction. You have a choice. Most days fail before they begin because they are undefined. No direction, no priority, no anchor. The mind drifts, the calendar fills. Other people decide what matters. That is not bad luck. That is a lack of clarity. And clarity is created, not discovered. That's the key. One sentence can change the entire day. Not a paragraph, not a plan, not a vision board. One sentence, short, direct, measurable. A sentence that tells your brain what to look for and what to ignore. A sentence that sets the standard. You don't need their permission to define your day. You need discipline. This is not journaling for feelings. This is journaling for execution. Writers, founders, and operators use a single-line entry because it works. It reduces procrastination. It doubles completion rates of priority tasks. It compresses decision-making. One sentence removes friction. One sentence creates alignment. That's the key. Here's why it works. The brain is a pattern-matching machine. If you don't give it a clear target, it scans for novelty. It chases inputs. It reacts. A single sentence acts like a filter. It tells the brain what matters. Everything else becomes background noise. Most people confuse activity with progress. They stay busy. They answer messages. They attend meetings. They feel tired, but they cannot point to one completed outcome. That is not a time problem. That is a direction problem. You have a choice. Choose direction. Here is the protocol. 60 seconds. No drama, no poetry. Step 1. Pick one category. Only one. Output. What you must produce. Process. How you must show up. Gratitude. What grounds your mindset. Do not mix categories. Mixing creates confusion. Confusion creates delay. Step 2. Write one sentence by hand if possible. Handwriting slows thought. Slower thought increases precision. Precision increases follow-through. If you must type, type. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Discipline beats preference. Step 3. Use a verb. A sentence without a verb is a wish. A sentence with a verb is a command. Examples. Complete the client proposal before noon. Protect 2 uninterrupted hours of deep work. Respond calmly and clearly in every meeting. Be grateful for the chance to execute under pressure. Step 4. Make it visible. Leave it on the desk. Set it as the phone lock screen. Tape it to the wall. Visibility is reinforcement. Reinforcement creates behavior. Step 5. Read it twice. Once immediately, once before your first break. Rereading refreshes the signal. The brain relocks on the target. That's the key. Here are examples that work in the real world. A writer writes, draft 800 words before checking email. Result, words get written. A founder writes, finish the hiring decision today. Result, fewer delays, fewer rehashes. A manager writes, listen fully before responding. Result, fewer conflicts, better outcomes. One sentence removes ambiguity. Ambiguity breeds procrastination. Procrastination is not laziness, it is confusion. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Now let's kill common mistakes. Mistake 1, writing too many sentences. That dilutes focus. Pick one. You have a choice. Mistake 2, writing vague intentions. Be productive. Do my best. These mean nothing to the brain. Be specific. Specificity creates movement. Mistake 3, writing outcome fantasies. Make $1 million. That does not guide behavior today. Write actions you can execute in the next 12 hours. Mistake 4, writing negative sentences. Don't waste time. The brain skips the don't. Write positive commands. Start the task immediately. Mistake 5, writing and forgetting. The power is not in writing. The power is in revisiting.
State it, read it, do it. Here is a short list of high-impact sentence templates. Use them, steal them, repeat them. Finish uncomfortable task immediately. Protect 2 hours of deep work. Stay calm and clear in every interaction. Be grateful for the chance to execute with discipline. Rotate these templates. Do not reinvent the wheel. Simplicity scales. Now the psychology. Writing one sentence creates a cognitive commitment. The brain seeks closure. When the sentence remains incomplete, tension builds. That tension pulls you back to the task. This is how you hack follow-through without hype. This is why founders and writers rely on it. They do not wait for inspiration. They create a signal. They follow the signal. They repeat. Identity follows. You have a choice. You can let the day scatter you, or you can pin it down with one line. That line becomes law. You don't need their permission to enforce it. Measurement matters. At the end of the day, ask one question. Did I execute the sentence? Yes or no? No explanation, no excuses. The answer teaches you more than any reflection. If you fail, do not add sentences tomorrow. Keep one. Tighten the wording. Make it clearer. Discipline improves through iteration. Language matters. Repeat the phrase. Say it out loud. One sentence, one direction. State it. Read it. Do it. Say it when you feel distracted. Say it when a meeting drags. Say it before you open a new tab. The sentence is a compass. Use it. This is how small habits stack. You moved. You hydrated. You defined the day. Each step reduced friction. Each step increased control. This is not accidental. This is design. You are not overwhelmed. You are under-directed. One sentence fixes that. You have a choice. Write it, enforce it, live it. You wrote the sentence. You gave the day a spine. Now you must protect it from decay. Now let's talk about the skill that preserves your focus when everything else demands it.
Chapter 5. Decide first, think later.
Decide first. Defend your day. You have a choice. Every decision drains energy. Every option taxes focus. Every maybe steals momentum. By noon, most people are not tired from work. They are tired from deciding. That's the key. Decision fatigue is the silent killer of performance. If you don't decide early, the day decides for you. Top performers understand this. They choose one priority before email, before messages, before meetings. They pick their MIT, the most important task, and everything else becomes secondary. The result is simple and measurable. More output by noon, less stress by evening, fewer regrets at night. You have a choice. Use the same rule. This is not about working harder. It's about deciding sooner. It's not about intelligence. It's about discipline. Here is the truth most people avoid. Thinking feels productive. Thinking feels safe. Thinking feels responsible. But thinking without deciding is procrastination wearing a suit. Decide first. Thinking comes after. That's the key. Here is the 60-second decision protocol. No debate, no optimization. Step 1. Ask one question. If I complete only one thing today, what makes the day a win? Do not list, do not brainstorm. Pick one answer. The first honest answer is usually correct. Step 2. Lock it in. Write it down. Circle it. Underline it. Make it visible. Visibility turns intention into obligation. Step 3. Define the finish line. Not work on it, not make progress. Define completion. Send the proposal. Ship the draft. Make the decision. Completion is binary, finished or not. That's the key. Step 4. Defend the block. Choose the first available block of focused time and protect it. No email,
no meetings, no phone. You don't need their permission to protect your work. You need discipline. That's it. 60 seconds, one decision, massive leverage. Now understand why this works. Every time you delay choosing, you leave the brain open. Open loops drain energy. Open loops invite distraction. Closing the loop early frees attention. Attention becomes execution. This is why top performers win mornings. They don't ask, "What should I do now?" They already decided. When the inbox opens, they don't panic. When the calendar fills, they don't scramble. The decision is made. Everything else is filtered through it. Decide first. Defend your day. Most people do the opposite. They check messages, they scan feeds, they attend meetings. Then they ask what matters. By then, the energy is gone. The window is closed. That is not bad luck. That is poor sequencing. You have a choice. Change the order. Let's kill the common excuses. I have too many priorities. No, you have too many opinions. One priority does not deny the others, it dominates them. My job is reactive. Then your MIT is to control the reactivity. Choose the action that reduces future chaos. I need more information. No, you need a decision. Clarity comes from commitment, not from endless analysis. You don't need their permission to choose. You don't need consensus. You need ownership. Now the practical rules that make this stick. Rule 1, one MIT only. 2 is none. 3 is fantasy. Rule 2, choose before inputs. Email, news, messages come after the decision, never before. Rule 3, protect the first work block. Treat it like a meeting with your future self. Do not cancel on yourself. Rule 4, if the MIT changes, change it consciously. Do not drift. Drift is the enemy. Here are examples that work in the real world. A founder chooses finalize pricing decision. By noon, the business moves forward. A designer chooses deliver final concept to the client. By noon, momentum builds. A manager chooses have the hard conversation. By noon, tension dissolves. Notice the pattern. Clear decisions reduce stress. Unclear days create it. This is why decision fatigue disappears when you decide early. The brain stops juggling options. The nervous system calms. Execution becomes automatic. Repeat the language. Say it out loud. Choose one, protect one. Decide first, defend your day. You have a choice. Say it when distractions appear. Say it when emails pull you away. Say it when you feel scattered. Language reinforces discipline. Now the discipline test. For the next 10 working days, choose your MIT in under 60 seconds. Write it down before checking anything. Track one metric only. Was the MIT completed by the end of the day? Yes or no? No excuses, no explanations, data only. If completion rates rise, you keep the system. If they don't, you tighten the definition of finished. Discipline improves through precision. Understand this clearly. This habit compounds. One clear decision each day saves hours each week. Those hours turn into progress. Progress turns into confidence. Confidence turns into identity. It's not about being smarter. It's not about grinding longer. It's about deciding sooner. You have a choice. Decide first, or think forever and move nowhere. You chose, you defended, you executed. Now comes the next discipline, the one that protects your time when others try to take it. You learned to decide, now learn to refuse.
Chapter 6. Say no to save your life. No is power. No creates space. You have a choice. Every yes costs something. Every yes spends time, energy, and attention. Most people don't run out of ability.
They run out of space. Space to think, space to execute, space to recover. They give it away one casual yes at a time. That's the key. If you don't protect your time, someone else will spend it for you. Here is the hard truth. Opportunity is not always progress. Many opportunities are distractions in disguise. They feel important, they sound flattering, they arrive with urgency, but they steal your focus from what actually matters. You have a choice. Choose what stays, choose what goes. Top performers understand this. Managers who adopt a fast, scripted no reclaim hours every week. They report better team outcomes, less burnout, clearer priorities. Why? Because clarity requires boundaries. Boundaries require refusal. You don't need their permission to say no. You need discipline. It's not about being rude. It's not about being selfish. It's about survival. It's not about pleasing everyone. It's about protecting what matters. That's the key. Most people hesitate to say no because they fear consequences, fear of disappointing, fear of missing out, fear of conflict. But indecision creates more damage than refusal. A delayed no is still a no. It just costs more. It costs stress. It costs resentment. It costs momentum. Say no fast. Say it clean. Say it once. Here is the 60-second refusal protocol. Memorize it. Step 1. Pause. Do not answer immediately if the request is unclear. A pause is not weakness. A pause is control. You have a choice. Step 2. Check alignment. Ask one question silently. Does this support my MIT or my priorities today? If the answer is no, proceed to Step 3. Step 3. Use a script. Short, calm, non-defensive. No explanation spiral. Examples. I can't take this on right now. This doesn't fit my current priorities. I won't be able to commit to this. Not this week. Say it once, stop talking. Silence is part of the refusal. Step 4. If appropriate, redirect without rescuing. I can't do this, but you might try blank. This is optional. Do not overcompensate. Overcompensation turns no into yes in disguise. That's it. 60 seconds. Boundary set. You don't need their permission to protect your life. Now understand why this works. Every time you say no, you reclaim a unit of attention. That attention can be invested in deep work, recovery, or execution. Saying no is not subtraction, it's reallocation. That's the key. People who never say no live fragmented lives. They work on everything and finish nothing. They feel busy and ineffective at the same time. That is not ambition, that is avoidance. Let's kill the myths. Myth 1. Saying no will damage relationships. No. Inconsistent yeses damage relationships. Clear boundaries build trust. Myth 2. I'll miss opportunities. No. You'll miss distractions. Real opportunities align with your priorities. Myth 3. I need to explain myself. No. Explanations invite negotiation. Negotiation invites erosion. You have a choice. Choose clarity over comfort. Now the discipline rules that make this sustainable. Rule 1. Decide your non-negotiables in advance. If you wait until the request arrives, emotion will decide for you. Rule 2. Use the same scripts repeatedly. Familiar language reduces emotional load. Repetition builds confidence. Rule 3. Say no early. The earlier the refusal, the cleaner it is. Late no's cost more. Rule 4. Expect discomfort. Discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is growth. Here are real-world examples. A manager says no to unnecessary meetings. Result? More focused teams, clearer deliverables. A freelancer says no to underpriced work. Result? Better clients, less resentment. A founder says no to side projects. Result? core business accelerates. Notice the pattern? No creates space. Space creates quality. Quality creates results. Now let's address the internal resistance. You will feel guilt. That is conditioning. You were trained to equate availability with value. That belief is false. Value comes from outcomes, not from constant access. You will feel anxiety. That is uncertainty. The brain hates ambiguity. Boundaries create it temporarily. Then calm returns. You will feel powerful. That is alignment. Alignment feels steady, quiet, clean. Use language to lock this in. Say it out loud. No is power. No creates space. Say no clearly. Keep the day. You have a choice. Say it before you respond. Say it after you refuse. Language reinforces identity. Now the discipline test. For the next 7 days, say no at least once per day to something misaligned, big or small. Track the result. Track how much time you reclaim. Track your energy at night. Do not brag. Do not announce it. This is private work. You don't need their permission or their applause. One warning: do not swing to cruelty. Boundaries are not weapons. They are filters. Be calm. Be respectful. Be firm. Firmness without hostility is mastery. Remember this: every yes should be earned. Every yes should support the life you are building. Everything else gets a no. You have a choice. You can live fragmented, or you can live focused. Focus demands refusal. You said no. You protected the day. You kept your space. Now that space must be filled with something that compounds.
Chapter 7. Read a page, steal a mind. Most people want new results without new inputs. That's the mistake. Growth is not magic. Growth is exposure. What enters the mind shapes the decisions. What shapes the decisions shapes the life. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most minds are underfed, not starving for motivation, starving for perspective. You have a choice: scroll noise or steal wisdom. That's the key. This chapter is not about becoming well-read. It's not about finishing books. It's not about looking smart. It's about leverage, mental leverage. One page, read deliberately, every day. One page can change a negotiation. One page can prevent a bad decision. One page can save years of trial and error. You don't need their permission to learn. You don't need a free weekend. You don't need perfect focus. You need one page. Most people binge information when they feel behind. Podcasts at 1.5x speed, highlighting everything, forgetting everything. That's not learning. That's panic consumption. It's not about volume. It's about consistency. It's not about speed. It's about repetition. One page read daily compounds faster than 10 chapters read once a month. That's the discipline. You have a choice: consume randomly or compound intentionally. That's the key. Reading one page a day forces something powerful: slowing down. And slowing down sharpens judgment. Fast minds react. Trained minds respond. One page invites reflection. It invites comparison. It invites internal dialogue. What does this change? How does this apply? What mistake would this have saved? That's where growth happens. Real-world performers understand this. Entrepreneurs who read one page every morning don't do it for inspiration. They do it for calibration. They start the day borrowing someone else's clarity, someone else's failure, someone else's insight. They steal a mind before the world steals their attention. That's not coincidence. That's strategy. Those entrepreneurs negotiate better because they've seen patterns before. They make calmer decisions because they recognize traps early. They generate better ideas because they combine old wisdom with new problems. They didn't get smarter overnight. They got exposed daily. One page a day, 1 year ahead. Read one, learn always. You have a choice: be original and ignorant,
or informed and effective. That's the key. Here's the truth most won't accept. Original thinking is built on borrowed frameworks. Every breakthrough thinker read something first. Every elite performer studied someone else's mistakes. Stealing a mind is not cheating, it's respecting time. You don't need to live every lesson personally. You can read your way past pain, but only if reading becomes ritual, not reaction. That's the discipline. Here's how to do it. First, choose one book at a time. Not 5, not a stack. Decision fatigue kills reading habits. Choose one book that aligns with the life you're building right now. Money, leadership, focus, strategy. One problem, one book. Second, decide when the page gets read. Not sometime today. That's a lie. Morning works best. Before messages, before noise, before excuses. One page before the world speaks to you. Third, read with a pen or mental pause, not to highlight everything, to notice one idea, just one. Ask, what would change if this were true? What would this save me from? Then stop. You're done. You don't earn extra points for reading more. Consistency beats ambition. Read one, learn always. You have a choice. Finish books or finish strong. That's the key. Most people quit reading because they chase completion. They miss a day, then a week, then guilt sets in. Guilt kills habits. One page removes guilt. One page is always possible. Busy day, one page. Travel day, one page. Mentally drained, one page. The habit survives because the demand is small. The payoff is not. That's discipline, and discipline compounds quietly. No applause, no announcements, just results. After 30 days, vocabulary sharpens. After 90 days, thinking slows down in a good way. After 1 year, decisions feel lighter, not easier, clearer, because clarity comes from exposure. You have a choice. Repeat your own thinking or upgrade it daily. That's the key. Here's another hard truth. Most people read to escape. Elite performers read to prepare. Escape reading numbs. Preparatory reading sharpens. This means fiction has its place, but discipline requires intention. Ask one question before reading. What am I training my mind to see? That question separates entertainment from growth. Read biographies to see trade-offs. Read philosophy to see assumptions. Read strategy to see second-order effects, but never read passively. One page, active mind. Read one, learn always. And don't confuse reading with action avoidance. Reading is not the work, it supports the work. If reading delays execution, stop early. The goal is insight, not comfort. You don't need their permission to apply what you learn. You don't need to finish the chapter. You need to act differently. That's the discipline. Here's the transformation. Before, reacting blindly. After, recognizing patterns. Before, emotional decisions. After, informed restraint. Before, repeating mistakes. After, avoiding them entirely. Not because of genius, because of exposure. One page a day builds an unfair advantage over time, quietly, relentlessly. Most people won't do it. That's why it works. You have a choice. Be average with company or disciplined alone. That's the key. Say it again. One page a day, 1 year ahead. Repeat it until it sticks. Read one, learn always. This chapter is about feeding the mind before the world feeds it junk. It's about choosing depth over noise. It's about discipline disguised as simplicity. You mastered focus. You protected your time. Now you've upgraded your thinking. But knowledge alone is not power. Application is. And application requires restraint. Because sometimes the strongest move is silence. You've learned to steal minds. Now it's time to protect your own.
Chapter 8. Declutter in 60 seconds. Distraction does not start in the mind. It starts in the environment. Mess creates noise.
Noise drains attention. Attention loss kills momentum. That's the chain. You have a choice. Control the space or let the space control you. That's the key. Most people think clutter is harmless. It's just my desk. It's just my phone. It doesn't affect me. That's a lie. Every object competes for attention. Every open tab makes a demand. Every unread notification pulls at the brain. The mind was not built for excess signals. It was built for focus and movement. Clutter creates friction. Friction creates fatigue. It's not about messiness, it's about discipline. And the solution is smaller than expected. 60 seconds. 1 minute of intentional decluttering flips the brain from scattered to sharp. Not because everything is perfect, but because control has been reasserted. You don't need their permission to clear your space. You don't need a full cleanup day. You need 1 decisive minute. That's the key. High performers understand this instinctively. Before deep work, they sweep. Before meetings, they reset. Before transitions, they clear. Not because they're obsessed with order, but because they respect attention. Teams that practice a quick desk or desktop sweep don't do it for aesthetics, they do it for reliability. Deep work sessions finish stronger. Interruptions drop. Mental stamina lasts longer. Not magic, mechanics. Clear the space, the mind follows. Tidy the space, tidy the mind. Repeat it. Tidy the space, tidy the mind. You have a choice. Enter work reactively or intentionally. That's the key. Clutter creates what psychologists call attention residue. The brain keeps checking unfinished signals, that pile, that tab, that notification. Even if you're not looking at it, your brain is tracking it. And attention split is attention weakened. Decluttering removes open loops. It tells the brain, this is handled. That's why clarity follows cleanup. But here's the mistake most people make. They aim for perfect. Perfect is a trap. Perfection delays action. Delay kills habits. This is not about organizing your life. It's about clearing one thing, one surface, one folder, one screen. Clear one thing, move on. That's discipline. You have a choice. Overthink the process or execute the minute. That's the key. Here's how the 60-second declutter works. First, pick one zone: desk, phone screen, desktop, inbox preview. Not all of it, just one. Second, remove what doesn't belong right now. Trash, archive, close, delete. No sorting, no labeling, no optimization. That's procrastination in disguise. Third, stop at 60 seconds, even if there's more to do. Stopping is important. It trains trust. You're not fixing your life, you're resetting your attention. Clear one thing, move on. You don't need their permission to start early. You don't need to finish. That's the key. Most people sabotage this habit by waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Environment is dependable. If the space is clean, the mind has fewer excuses. If the screen is clear, the focus lasts longer. That's why this works best at transition points, before starting work, after finishing a task, before switching contexts. Transitions are where distraction sneaks in. A quick declutter acts like a mental door close. This previous task is done. This next task begins now. Without it, tasks bleed into each other. Energy leaks. Time disappears. You have a choice. Let tasks blur or draw clean lines. That's the key. Digital clutter is especially dangerous because it's invisible. Too many tabs, too many apps, too many notifications. Each one whispers, "Check me." You don't need to quit technology. You need to discipline it. One screen sweep. Close everything not needed for the next task. That's not minimalism, that's focus management. Tidy the space, tidy the mind. Say it again. Tidy the space, tidy the mind.
Here's what changes when this becomes a habit. Before, procrastination disguised as preparation. After, immediate engagement. Before, constant context switching. After, sustained attention. Before, mental fatigue by noon. After, energy that lasts. Not because life got easier, because friction was removed. It's not about willpower, it's about environment. That's the discipline. You have a choice. Fight distraction internally or remove it externally. That's the key. Let's talk about resistance. Some people feel anxious when clearing space because clutter feels like security. Papers feel like progress. Tabs feel like options. Notifications feel like relevance. But options dilute execution. Relevance fades without results. Clearing space feels uncomfortable at first because it forces commitment. What stays, what goes. That discomfort is growth. Clear one thing, move on. The habit trains decisiveness, and decisiveness compounds. You don't need their permission to delete. You don't need to justify clearing space. That's the key. This chapter is not about cleanliness, it's about control. Control of inputs, control of attention, control of energy. When the environment is noisy, discipline is harder. When the environment is clean, discipline is supported. You're not weak for being distracted. You're human, but you're responsible for what you tolerate. You have a choice. Live inside chaos or design clarity. That's the key. Say it one last time. Tidy the space, tidy the mind. Repeat the action. Clear one thing, move on. This habit takes 1 minute, but it gives back hours. It sharpens the blade before the work begins. It closes loops before they drain you. You've moved your body, you've fueled your brain, you've focused your intention, you've protected your time, you've upgraded your thinking. Now you're learning to protect your attention at the source, because attention is fragile, and once it's gone, the day follows. You cleared the space. Next, you'll learn how to guard the most valuable resource you have left, time.
Chapter 9. Repair the day with a micro-ritual. The day will break. That is not a possibility. That is a guarantee. Plans will fail. Energy will dip. Someone will interrupt. Something will go wrong. The mistake is not the disruption. The mistake is letting one bad moment steal the entire day. You have a choice. Spiral or reset. That's the key. Most people don't lose days. They lose moments, and then they quit on the day because they don't know how to recover. They tell themselves, it's already ruined. I'll start again tomorrow. This day is a write-off. That's weakness disguised as logic. High performers don't have perfect days. They have fast recoveries. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about repairing momentum. And the repair does not take an hour. It takes 60 seconds. Reset in 60. Return to task. Say it again. Reset in 60. Return to task. That's the discipline. A micro-ritual is a short, intentional interruption that stops a negative spiral before it hardens into a habit. Not motivation, not self-talk, action. The nervous system responds to action, not excuses. 1 minute of deliberate reset can lower cortisol, stabilize breathing, and restore cognitive control faster than scrolling, venting, or quitting. Salespeople understand this. Creatives understand this. Athletes understand this. After a bad call, they reset. After a rejection, they reset. After a mistake, they reset. Because momentum is fragile, and unattended emotion will hijack behavior. You don't need their permission to pause. You don't need to explain the reset. That's the key. Let's be clear. This is not about calming down. This is about regaining command. When something goes wrong, the body reacts first. Heart rate spikes, breathing shortens, muscles tense. If you ignore this, the body drives the mind, and the mind makes poor decisions. A micro-ritual flips that order. You act first.
The body follows, the mind regains control. That's discipline. Here are the 3 simplest micro-rituals. All take 60 seconds, all work. First, the breath reset. Stand or sit upright. Inhale deeply through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly through the mouth for 6. Repeat 3 times. That's it. This tells the nervous system, threat over. Decision-making returns. Reset, breathe, restart. Second, the physical reset. Stand up, stretch the arms overhead, roll the shoulders, shake out the hands. Movement breaks emotional fixation. Motion creates momentum, even here. Third, the one-line reset. Write 1 sentence, not a paragraph, 1 sentence. What's the next right action? Not how you feel, not what went wrong, what's next? That sentence is a bridge back to execution. You have a choice. Stay stuck in reaction or return to action. That's the key. Here's where most people fail. They wait too long. They let frustration simmer. They replay the moment. They self-criticize. By the time they think about resetting, the spiral is already deep. The rule is simple. The moment you notice disruption, you reset. Not later, not after one more check. Now. Do it now. Do it daily. Reset in 60. Return to task. Repetition matters, because this habit isn't built during crisis, it's built during practice. If you only reset when the day is already ruined, you're late. The micro-ritual must become automatic. Bad email? Reset. Missed deadline? Reset. Low energy? Reset. You don't negotiate with the spiral, you interrupt it. That's discipline. It's not about emotion, it's about behavior. You are allowed to feel frustrated. You are not allowed to stay there. You have a choice. That's the key. Let's talk about why this works. Negative spirals are fueled by rumination. Rumination keeps the mind trapped in the past. Micro-rituals force the mind back into the present. Breath anchors attention. Movement shifts state. Writing clarifies direction. Each one breaks the loop. That's why 1 minute is enough. Longer resets often become avoidance. Short resets preserve urgency. Reset, breathe, restart. Say it again. Reset, breathe, restart. Some people resist this because they think it's too simple. Simple is not weak. Simple is repeatable. Complex systems break under stress. Simple systems survive. That's why this works in high-pressure environments. Sales floors, creative studios, operating rooms, competitive sports. Pressure exposes systems, and the best systems are fast. You don't need their permission to step away for 60 seconds. You don't need to announce the reset. You take it. You return stronger. That's the key. Now listen carefully. This chapter is not about fixing the whole day. It's about fixing the next 5 minutes. Momentum is rebuilt in small wins. One task done cleanly after a reset restores confidence. Confidence restores energy. Energy restores flow. But only if you restart. Most people reset and then stall. They breathe, stretch, and then scroll. That's not a reset. That's escape. A real reset always ends with action. Return to task, even if the task is small, especially if the task is small. Action seals the ritual. Reset in 60, return to task. This habit changes your identity. You stop being someone who has bad days. You become someone who recovers fast. Recovery speed is a competitive advantage in life, in business, in relationships. The faster you repair momentum, the less damage disruption causes. You have a choice. Let the spiral decide or interrupt it deliberately. That's the key. Over time, something powerful happens. Disruptions lose their power. Mistakes feel smaller. Pressure feels manageable.
Not because problems disappear, because your response is trained. This is self-trust built through action. You prove to yourself repeatedly, no matter what happens, control returns quickly. That belief is unshakable, and it's built 1 minute at a time. Reset, breathe, restart. You've now learned how to start the day, how to fuel the body, how to focus the mind, how to protect attention, and how to recover when things go wrong. There's one final discipline left, the discipline that locks all of this in, the discipline that decides whether these habits compound or collapse. You've repaired the day. Now it's time to close it correctly.
Chapter 10. Stack or Starve. Build unstoppable consistency. This is where everything comes together. This is where excuses die. Because at the end of the day, nothing changes without consistency. Not talent, not intelligence, not motivation. Consistency decides who wins. Consistency decides who fades. You have a choice: stack habits or starve progress. That's the key. Most people think transformation requires massive action, huge routines, total life overhauls. That belief keeps them stuck. Big plans collapse under pressure. Small habits survive. It's not about intensity, it's about repeatability. Micro habits stack, and when they stack, they don't just change behavior, they change identity. 10 habits, 60 seconds each, 10 minutes a day. That's not a schedule, that's identity design. Stack the small, live the large. Say it again, stack the small, live the large. This entire audiobook has been teaching one idea from different angles. You don't rise to goals, you sink to systems. And systems are built one habit at a time. 1 minute, one action, one decision, then another. That's discipline. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is renewable. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline asks, what's next? You don't need their permission to be consistent. You don't need to feel ready. That's the key. Let's talk about stacking. Habit stacking means attaching one small action to another so momentum carries you forward automatically. You wake up, you own the first minute. Because you woke up, you move before you scroll. Because you moved, you hydrate. Because you hydrated, you write one sentence. Because you wrote, you decide one priority. Because you decided, you say no faster. Because you said no, you read one page. Because you read, you declutter. Because you decluttered, you reset faster when the day breaks. Nothing here requires motivation, it requires sequence. That's the secret. One habit cues the next. Miss the stack and friction returns. Protect the stack and momentum compounds. You have a choice. Build isolated habits that fade or build a chain that pulls you forward. That's the key. Look at high performers closely. Marathoners don't train hard randomly. They stack routines. Shoes on, stretch, warm up, run. CEOs don't find time. They stack decisions. Wake, review, decide, execute. Artists don't wait for inspiration. They stack behaviors. Sit, open notebook, write one line, then another. The greatness you admire is not explosive, it's accumulated. Small wins repeated become a signature life. That's why motivation fails. Motivation spikes, then disappears. Habits stay. It's not about how you feel today, it's about who you're becoming daily. That's discipline. Stack the small, live the large. Here's where most people sabotage consistency. They try to stack too much at once. They hear this and think, I'll start all 10 tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. The rule is simple. One habit first. Master 1 minute, then add another. One habit, then two, then everything changes. Repeat it. One habit, then two, then everything changes. You don't rush identity,
you reinforce it. Each completed habit is a vote for the person you're becoming, and votes compound. Miss a day? You don't quit, you reset. You already learned how. Reset in 60, return to task. Consistency is not perfection. Consistency is recovery speed. You have a choice. Let one miss turn into collapse or treat it as noise. That's the key. Let's address the fear underneath inconsistency. Fear of boredom, fear of simplicity, fear that this isn't enough. That fear comes from ego. Ego wants drama. Discipline wants results. Boring habits build extraordinary lives. Chaotic effort builds nothing. It's not about excitement, it's about execution. Every day, these habits whisper the same message to the brain. I keep promises to myself. That signal is powerful. Self-trust grows. Confidence stabilizes. Decision-making sharpens. Not because life got easier, because you became reliable. Reliable beats talented. Reliable beats smart. Reliable wins. You don't need their permission to be boringly consistent. You don't need applause. That's the key. Now, zoom out. 10 minutes a day, 70 minutes a week, 300 minutes a month. Over a year, 60 hours of deliberate identity shaping. That's not counting the downstream effects. Better focus, better decisions, better boundaries, better energy. Compound interest works on behavior too. Small daily actions produce outsized life results. Stack the small, live the large. This is why people who do less often win more. They eliminate friction, they remove negotiation, they trust the stack. Once habits are stacked, discipline becomes automatic. You stop asking, should I? You simply move. That's freedom. True freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's not being controlled by impulse. Freedom is being governed by systems you chose deliberately. You have a choice. Be ruled by mood or be guided by structure. That's the key. Let's close this clearly. This audiobook was never about productivity. It was about control. Control of mornings, control of energy, control of attention, control of recovery, control of identity. Every micro-habit is a lever. Pull enough levers consistently and life shifts. Not overnight, but permanently. You don't need a breakthrough, you need a stack. One habit, then two, then everything changes. Say it one last time. Stack the small, live the large. This is the line. From here forward, you either return to old patterns or you protect the stack. You have a choice. Choose discipline. Choose consistency. Choose to design who you become. Do it now. Do it daily. And if this audiobook sharpened your thinking, if it gave you structure instead of hype, if it challenged you instead of comforting you, like this video, subscribe to Mindshift Audiobooks. Because the next shift doesn't come from motivation, it comes from repetition. And repetition changes everything.